Hello. Hi to all the people that I knew. I'm gonna reintroduce myself. My name is Brittany. I on my channel is faith-based. It used to be an ASMR channel because I'm so shy. I didn't want to show my face and things like that. But God told me no more. I had to step out and be bold for Him. So that's what I'm doing. I'm a wife, I'm a mother, also take care of my mother, and I'm just going with God's flow with this channel. Whatever He tells me to do, that's what I do. And today He has told me to start telling one of my testimonies today. Before I get into my testimony, I wanted to just put a disclaimer out there that this is nothing against anybody else's religion or anything like that. I'm a firm believer that arguing and being mean to each other with each other's religion is a distraction from the enemy. We win souls by love and by the fruit. So I'm not discrediting anybody's religion, because that's just not what I'm gonna do. If God is going to save you, He saves by love and by the fruit of His people. So that's first. And I wanted to say also, as a little girl, God has always spoken to me audibly. I'm not the only one. I come from a family of believers, and God speaks audibly to a lot of us. I didn't know that it was not normal until recently. But yeah, God, we all have gifts because we had a praying grandma. So we hear God. And even throughout this process, throughout all of my testimonies, I've always heard God's instructions. Sometimes I did not listen. Sometimes I tried to ignore it. But I've always heard Him, so keep that in mind. He never left me. He's so good. Even when I turn my back on Him, He's never left me. So this testimony is from when I was a teen. I was about maybe 10th, 11th grade. I met, let's call this guy Jay. You know, when you're about 15, 16, you start having interest. I start liking, boys or whatever, having interest in them. I was always taught that your body's a temple. You don't give it to boys. You don't dress a certain way. But I didn't listen. It's a very hard-headed. But I was a sneaky hard-headed. I did things sneakily. So I met this guy, Jay, that was much older than me. Being though I was about 15, 16, he was in college already. He was I think he was in the second year of college. I met him when he was home for summer break. When it was the times when you were outside during the summer, everybody was in a certain place, and that's where I met him at. He asked to take me on a date. I told a fib to my mom about how old he was, because he was driving and she was alerted like, how old is he? And I told a little fib, and I told her that he was either 17 or 18. So even if you ask your children, double check what your children say to you. Definitely. Yeah, because I fibbed, and he was much older than that. Well, not much, but he was older than that. Too old to be trying to date me at the time. So we went on a date, blah blah. He went back to college, kept in touch. The next time he came, the next summer he came back from college. It was he was on a break, one of the breaks. This is the man that took my virginity. Which I knew was wrong. Like I said, I grew up in the church. I knew it was wrong. But that's what happened. That's what went on. That happened. He went on back to school. I didn't hear from him for a while. And I didn't know, I was young, I didn't know that that's what guys did. I didn't know that that's what they were after, especially being that old. I didn't have any knowledge. I didn't grow up with a dad. Nobody warned me. My grandma warned me a little bit, but no male warned me. No, they didn't tell me. So I was a little, you know, kind of a little heartbroken because he kind of ghosted me. But anyway, went on with my life. Years go by. Out of school, maybe about, I think it was 18 when I reconnected. He popped back up. And we have to understand, when people pop back up in our life, we have to have discernment. We have to ask God if this is of him, because the reason why he popped up in my life again was not of God. It was of the devil. It was of the devil, point blank, period. He brought him back into my life. He brought him back into my life. I was excited because, you know, I liked him. Long story short, within a week's time, this man got in a really bad car accident where it left him paralyzed. And yeah, within a week of us rekindling or seeing each other again or talking again, he becomes paralyzed from a really bad car accident. And the one number that he remembered at the hospital, or he told his family to call, was mine. And I was flattered at the time. I was like, oh, it's so meant to be. He called me out of everybody and blah blah blah. No, I understand now that the devil will make a way for you to be caught up. This man, grew up Christian. This man grew up Muslim. So in the first places, we're unevenly yoked. We believe different things, and in situations like that, it's tug of war. Either you're gonna come on this side or I'm gonna go on that side. It's not gonna work if we believe different things. We go by different things. We believe in different gods and different rules and things like that. So it was either I was gonna go over there, or he was gonna come on my side. And we know a lot of Islamic or Muslim men are strong, bull-headed, and they are not going to come to this side, or they're not going to surrender. That's not manly. They don't listen to women. And like I said, I'm not saying this to be offensive, but this is my story. This is what I went through, and eventually I went to that side. So this is the story about how the devil wanted to trap me in Islam, or trap me into being a Muslim. It's going to be in 4 parts because it's quite a long story. But he got in a car accident. I went up to the hospital. I stuck by him through all of his therapies and things like that. I went with him. I was there. This man became very, very, very abusive, and I'm going to get into that in part 2. But stay tuned to see how the devil trapped me in abusive relationship and also Islamic religion. I was trapped. I felt trapped, but the whole time, remember this, the whole time, the Holy Spirit never left me. He always spoke to me every single day. Even though I was trapped, even though I felt horrible throughout the whole relationship, he was always, the Lord never left me, and I'm so grateful for it. But I'll see you guys next week for part 2. You have a blessed day.